Everybody plays games. Let's not act like that's not real. When a dirty old man comes at you, do you think that little white girl, the 25 grand a cheap girl, meant half of the stuff that she was saying to Shannon Sharp? Of course not.
All of this shows that Sean Combs is a terrible guy, but it doesn't amount to RICO. I am one of the people who argues in debates that a lot of this shows RICO. And, Kid Cudi seemed to have a lot of stories that matched up with the predicate acts to RICO. Did you agree or disagree?
I'm here to stand in solidarity with all of the survivors of Diddy and for the agenda for cruelty-free artistry to be something real. There's too much pain. There's been too many victims. There's too many survivors.
Do we think he did it? Heck yes, we think he did it. But I don't know if that's enough to prove arson as one of those crimes that they've alleged was part of his RICO criminal enterprise.
Jaguar Wright entered the spotlight and made a shocking move that rocked the legal battlefield just when it looked like the storm surrounding Diddy couldn't grow much hotter. According to insider rumors, she didn't just show up. She allegedly presented proof that had the business on edge and left the mogul in a panic, with Wright emerging as a bold force committed to exposing the manipulation permeating the music industry. What began as another well-publicized conflict over control and power has now taken a darker turn.
I was the only person there speaking for the victims except for the prosecution. I was the only one there to stand in solidarity other than the prosecution. Looking around at all the YouTubers interloping, begging, waiting in line to get into the court so that they could gossip, or should I say, misinform the public of what's real. Thank God for court transcripts, because I can honestly say that there would be 80 million remixes if it wasn't for that. I had to be there. And not just that, I was there as a reporter myself, as a journalist myself. I needed to be there to document that first day. It's one of the most important parts of my journey for cruelty free. But I wanted to be there and make prayer before everybody got there. And just reach out to the prosecutor as they came up and let them know. You have platforms that are backing you. You're praying for your success. And that moment with her was awesome. I prayed for her. I prayed for her safety. She told me that she does the same for me. And I asked her the most important question there was to ask: are you ready? And she looked me in my face. I called her on a bluff, and she said, "We're ready."
As the trial unfolds, Jaguar Wright cuts through the noise, dissecting the courtroom drama with the confidence of someone who has been calling it out for years. For her, none of these revelations come as a surprise. They are confirmations of truths she has long put on record. In her latest remarks, she tears into the defense's tactics, dismissing excuses like addiction or rage as weak distractions. She sharpens her attack further by drawing bold parallels to the R. Kelly saga, questioning why the same testimony patterns and public blind spots keep going unchallenged. To Jaguar, this isn't shock, it's a cycle she has been exposing all along.
That's the thing. Anything that's about to be said in that courtroom, I've already spoke about at length here. On this couch.
Front door lock unlocked.
Are they saying anything different than I've already said that they be doing?
Yeah, you're right. You're on it.
How many times have I said? That is wild. They wild. And everybody knew about it. I could have sworn to God I said that 1 million times. Everyone knew. Everyone. So no, I'm not surprised at anything he had to say. I'm not surprised at anything that Cassie is saying right now. What I do find interesting is that everyone is acting so surprised. What will I say about what he said? I think he's telling the absolute truth. Like when the opening statements in the defendant's case start as, well, my client has drug addiction And he suffers from jealous primal rage. I mean, yeah, he did these things, but it really wasn't that bad. Everybody loved him, and they wanted to be loved by him in the manner in which he likes loving people. What did I say about R. Kelly? Do y'all remember that? The first time we did the blue couch, after the chair, when it went from the light wall to the couch with a light on it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Love and year. Love and year. Well, how is this any different? Is nobody realizing that a lot of the testimony that we're hearing against the diddler right now, very similar to the things that people were saying about R. Kelly?
Yes.
Why is nobody paying attention to that? Why does no one want to look?
But it didn't stop there. Jaguar right through in a curveball that left the room buzzing. Ryan Leslie, once praised as a brilliant producer, Jaguar painted a darker picture, claiming he was the one who connected Cassie to Diddy not as a casual introduction, but as a calculated move with heavy consequences. The sting isn't just in the allegation, but in his silence. Since the lawsuit surfaced, Leslie has disappeared from the conversation. No statements, no pushback, nothing. And in this game, silence speaks louder than words. Jaguar insisted, you can't just fade into the background when you played a hand in lighting the spark that set everything ablaze. The lingering question remains, what did Ryan Leslie really know? And why is nobody pressing him?
Telling people not to care about her baby. He said Mary Magdalene was a whore. And he compared her like... And y'all better not be affected by that baby bump. Whores have babies too. Who says that?
Wow.
Talking about he knows where her family is from because he's from New London, Connecticut. And everyone wants to keep barreling down on Ryan Leslie. It's funny. I talked about the whole Ryan Leslie connection. Ryan loved Cassie, bragged about it. Cassie just testified. She has tattoos on her body from Ryan Leslie. But nobody ever talks about how that relationship ended and how her relationship with Diddy began. You know, Ryan was blowing up. And after him and Cassie separated, gone. I wonder why. If Diddy has ran around and threatened every other man that was interested in Cassie while he was busy her, neglecting her, confusing her. Why wouldn't we think that he put the moves on Ryan Leslie? I thought it was interesting when he did Drink Champs, because he just recently, not that long ago, did a Drink Champ interview with Nori and them over on the Peer Pressure podcast. I was shocked to see that. I didn't understand the relevance. I didn't understand why he would do anything for a network that was affiliated with Diddy. I didn't get it. Didn't make any sense to me. Not at all. But what I do know is this. Diddy has a history of bullying women into relationships with him and bullying men away from the women that he desires to possess.
She still wasn't done. Jaguar went for the jugular, dropping names most wouldn't dare. Whisper Jay-Z, Beyonce, Mary J. Blige, Rick Ross, Jennifer Lopez, and 50 Cent. She accused Blige of playing hidden roles behind the scenes that nobody talks about. Then came Kid Cudi's testimony, his home broken into, his car torched straight out of a mob movie. Suddenly, Jaguar's warnings about secret networks and power games sounded less like wild claims and more like evidence. For years, she has spoken about rituals, handlers, and deep cover-ups in the industry. And now federal raids and courtroom bombshells are echoing her claims. With firebombs and break-ins making headlines, the chilling question lingers: was Jaguar laying out the blueprint long before anyone else dared?
Kid Cudi testified about his home being broken into, his car set on fire. We've also heard from a male escort who testified to creating, quote, scenes with Cassie under the direction of Sean Combs, and then Diddy's former assistant who testified to seeing Combs another girlfriend. Which one of these three men do you think potentially had the most impact?
I actually think it's Kid Cudi, and that's because the things that he is testifying to brings us outside of the realm of domestic violence and these kind of crimes that we've been hearing a lot about. Remember, in a racketeering case, they have to show a criminal enterprise and these ongoing criminal predicate acts that we refer to them as. Something like arson, something like that car bombing that Kid Cudi testified to, the break-in, residential burglary, all of those things start to paint the picture that this is far more than just a incredibly jealous or a man, that this is someone who is willing to extend beyond that and commit crimes. And that, I think, is really moving the needle as far as the racketeering charges go. All of this kind of fits into that overall scheme of a criminal enterprise. But I think when the government starts to extend beyond the freak-offs and beyond they start to paint a fuller picture for the jury of just really how this person operated like a criminal.
Jaguar hasn't wavered. She's been voicing these accusations long before Diddy's legal firestorm, insisting the world hear her version of what happened with Bryce Shear. Her determination has been relentless, painting Shear as a rising star whose bright future was cut short under heavy shadows. Once full of talent and promise, even landing roles that hinted at a Hollywood breakthrough, his story turned tragic. Jaguar frames it as a fall orchestrated by forces bigger than him, a derailment that turned potential stardom into mere survival. And as courtroom pressure builds, her message is clear. This wasn't chance, it was consequence.
He's always saying little slick stuff. And don't nobody ever figure he needs to be subpoenaed for any of it. If we go back and we think about things that he said before Cassie filed the lawsuit, right before Cassie filed the lawsuit, he was talking about how Diddy used to send videos of Cassie getting partied on, getting freaked off on. And he said he called me and he said, hey, have you seen this? I thought this was your girl. I thought you loved it. Oh, yeah, she loves it. She loves it. Whoopty, whoopty, woo. Yada, yada, yada. That was evidence of a freak-off that he had footage of. Why was that not subpoenaed? And if he knows so much, why isn't he a material witness? I don't get it. Everybody's so interested in hauling me off the court to force me on the stand to do this and to do that. But this man is sitting over here, he's been dry snitching for almost 2 years straight. And he's not a witness? Why not? If you have knowledge that the Jigga Man helped the Diddler boom boom Kid Cudi's car because he didn't want his property messed with, which was Cassie, why ain't nobody asking him to come testify about it? Why is he not being called in? Like all of this, oh, I'm gonna sit on Instagram and I'm gonna just shoot a shot and I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna sit back and watch and get, please. This is serious. People have been hurt. People have been destroyed. Now you just want to be the lineup King Curtis, huh? How can we line you up everything you did with Soulja Boy? Who is that? Being used as a dog whistle against DDG. All of this is getting real suspicious.
The connection to Diddy and even Will Smith was presented as mentorship, a golden opportunity for 17-year-old Bryce Shear, with his manager Charlie Mack envisioning music guidance from Diddy and acting direction from Will. It was sold as a dream pairing, but Jaguar Wright paints a darker picture, claiming what was presented as mentorship was anything but. In her telling, the experience drained Bryce instead of elevating him. leaving scars where growth should have been.
I think we're all in shock. Everybody knew about the Diddy parties and the after party, but we didn't know about the after party, right? Apparently the after party were these freak off sessions that were very selective, very coordinated, according to Cassie's testimony, very coordinated by Diddy. And it's not something that we knew about. It's just shocking. It's shocking to know that all of this was going on for years. It was shocking to know that, people were witnessing certain parts of but they weren't privy to the nature of this. And, this wasn't like an everyday couple. Diddy has been in the spotlight for that whole time. And the fact that we knew nothing about these counts that he was orchestrating, it's just shocking.
Jaguar saved one of her sharpest shots for 50 Cent. And no, she wasn't laughing at the memes. She called him out for dropping cryptic hints for nearly 2 years, teasing insider knowledge while avoiding the witness stand. Her challenge was simple. If he knows that much, why hasn't he been forced to testify? In her eyes, you can't clown from the sidelines when the stakes are this high. Jaguar made it clear this isn't just about Diddy, it's a sprawling operation with layers. And she's naming names like she's delivering prophecy. The vibe is apocalyptic, and the industry is rattled.
For Cassie to take the stand, and mind you, there's no cameras in court. For Cassie going up there pregnant, almost due, for the optics of that, how do you feel? Just, you personally, the optics of hearing about freak-offs, hearing about these things that happened, years ago, and seeing her there because her husband is there too, and I believe he stormed off as well because she has children and now she's pregnant. The optic of seeing her up there,
being treated like a worker.
Yeah.
Being disrespected. All of the things, God bless Alex Fine. God bless Mr. Fine. Nobody has really thought about what this must be like for him. The second that him and Cassie pulled up in New York, they already had YouTubers, like ex-bad boy cheerleaders, who still bragging about being loyal to the Diddy, calling her a whore, telling people not to care about her baby. He said Mary Magdalene was a whore, and he compared her like, and y'all better not be affected by that baby bump. Whores have babies too. Who says that?
Wow.
Talking about he knows where her family is from because he's from New London, Connecticut. And everyone wants to keep barreling down on Ryan Leslie. It's funny. I've talked about the whole Ryan Leslie connection. Ryan loved Cassie, bragged about it. Cassie just testified. She has tattoos on her body from Ryan Leslie. But nobody ever talks about how that relationship ended and how her relationship with Diddy began. Ryan was blowing up.
This time, Jaguar made it personal. She's not just firing at Diddy, but at the entire circle that shields. Hey man, 50 Cent is on that list. She accuses him of posting mocking memes and cryptic digs for years, yet ducking the witness stand when it matters most. To her, that's not entertainment. Tits life on the line. Then came Chopper, the former Bad Boy South artist, backing her fire with his own story. In a raw interview, he laid out betrayal, stolen music, broken deals, and being abandoned during Hurricane Katrina without even a call. He says Diddy stripped him of everything, then looked at him like he was the problem, when all he saw was a man who used him and walked away.
When Diddy looked at me, he looked at me like, you bitch ass nigga. Obviously for what I spoke my truth. You heard me on all the dialogue, but he actually looked at me in disappointment. You heard me? He looked at me like I have no right to be up there. He looked at me like he was like, I don't know. It was eerie. It was like, how could you do this to me? But deep down, I looked at him like, how could you do this to me? You understand? Like the life that I had to live from you doing bad business with me, and I done everything right. You heard me with the Bad Boy situation. The songs that you stole from me, from the Khalees, not Milkshake B, but Bossy B, to all that that I've done behind the scenes and on the scenes that you took from me and give me nothing. You gave me nothing. You left me to be down here in New Orleans, Louisiana, especially during Katrina, when I had to give my savings to my family. Be honest with you, from the Bad Boy South situation, I signed a $500,000 deal. Uncle Sam took practically 190 of that, left me with practically at least 300 and some thousand. When Diddy said f me because I wasn't trying to be on the road with him or be on the road at all to promote my album, courtesy of Katrina, because no one from outside of New Orleans understood the detrimental situation that has occurred to us. I didn't even understand it. You dig? I'm not used to a Category 5 hurricane. When hurricanes come here, it be Category 3, 2, like that there. It's that you can manage. You understand? I didn't understand the detrimental situation that was going to occur, and he didn't either. So I could understand why he probably was like, get back on the road. You dig? But I couldn't get back on the road. So I gave most of all my money to my family. After I asked this man, say, bruh, you owe me another $500,000. I signed $1 million deal. Give me the other $500,000, or at least a portion of that, so I can make sure my people straight to get out of the city.
Chopper didn't just speak from the sidelines, he showed up in person, and the weight of it hit hard. You could hear it in his voice. Years of betrayal and silence walked into that courtroom with him. He described the moment as tense and bittersweet, because for him, it wasn't just justice, on display it was personal. He caught Cassie's knowing glance, a silent recognition, before the Combs family glared daggers his way. And when Diddy appeared, Chopper said he looked worn down, but still carried the same untouchable arrogance. Only this time, Chopper didn't flinch.
Went up there, I was anxious. I'm not even gonna much lie to you, because it was a bittersweet situation, bro. Bittersweet bitter because of the things that transpired with me in the Bad Boy situation with Diddy and how it went down. That wasn't right on my end, as well as it wasn't right on his end. I'm not going to be biased and just straight blame him for all the things that transpired, but I 100% can say that he's responsible for a lot of things that I wasn't able to do with my career moving forward. So when I went to the courtroom, it was packed. I'm not even going to lie to you, brother. It was packed. It was pandemonium. People were happy to see me. I ain't gonna lie, I was low key though. I was low key, but I took my hoodie off. I went in there, because it's a public, whatever, you dig. Anybody can practically go in there, kind of. So I went in there, and people knew my face. And the first person I seen was Cassie. I seen Cassie. She gave me a little smirk on her face. I knew what the smirk was. The smirk was like, wow, Chops here, right? And she was kind of happy to see me. Then I look over to my left, and I see the whole Combs family. I seen Janice, his chairman was there, the twin girls was there, his other daughter was there, all the little cornballs, his little sons was there, you dig, and they gave me the most meanest mug in the world, right? and Diddy come out, right? And Diddy looked like he about a good 99 years old, but he still had a great characteristical attitude with himself, meaning I can tell, you heard me, that he's keeping his head up in there, even though it's so hard for him. I can tell that it's hard for him by me going through that situation a couple years ago, but I can also tell that he's keeping his head up, maybe not for the situation, bruh, but most definitely for his family. He stands strong for his family.
He didn't look away, he stared right back. But the real chill came from fresh testimony by one of Diddy's own bodyguards, who described 5 relationships stacked like a pyramid. At the top sat Kim Porter, untouchable, while Cassie was reportedly labeled moldable, treated as something to shape, not someone to love. It wasn't romance, it was control. Diddy could roam free, but when Cassie tried to reclaim her independence, everything shifted.
What the basis of the reaction from Combs is, it's to me, it's very puzzling. One of his bodyguards testified that he was in 5 different relationships, so there were 5 different women, and he almost had like a hierarchy to them, right? Kim Porter being his family, the number one, and then he said Cassie was moldable, so it's like, I think we're trying to understand the dynamics here. Was this love? Was this control? I don't know quite yet, but I do know that there's a possession there on behalf of Diddy, where he's trying to possess her and keep her from having these other relationships. You know, he can have other relationships, but what is it that she can't? And that's really where I feel like the prosecution has an edge over it.
Suddenly, her independence became a threat. That imbalance is exactly what prosecutors are seizing on, framing it less as consent and more as captivity. Jaguar Wright warned about this long ago, insisting Cassie wasn't just a partner but caught in a cycle that stripped away her boundaries until little remained. Now, the courtroom seems to be catching up to the warnings she has been shouting for years.